to me, more time is walking in the park, being with the one you love. More time say you're sorry. More time to just live. Now I know Waverly is kind of a conservative religious community, and people were like, you know, opening a tattoo shop in that area probably isn't the best idea. I thought it was the greatest idea. I wasn't really too much into sports or anything. I really loved TV and drawing. I'm a firm believer in karma, and one thing that I think helped me a lot was my dad worked at the Waterloo Courier, and he used to bring home pads of paper, huge, all different sizes. They were just so fun when he'd bring them, and he'd bring home all the little stubs. The guys would get too short in their pocket, they'd throw them in a box, and I got all those. I had just a good, strong desire to draw all the time. And in school, I was always doing pictures of cartoons or trying to replicate something. So I was really, you know, kind of fortunate there. There was one problem though, was I was colorblind. So where all the other kids got 64 crayons with the cool sharpener in the back, I got 8. When I went to college, it was really very different being put in with all the other great artists of other high schools, but the contacts there were amazing, and one of those contacts I made in college was a guy named Darren McKegg, who I never thought would be a tattoo artist, and later on he really helped me. But before college I had taken a couple years off, sowed my oats and lived around and moved around a little bit, and then I met my wife.
When we first met, he was living at home and just had moved back from Wisconsin, where he was working as a security guard. And he was trying to figure out what he was going to do. So then he decided to go to school for art.
I wasn't really happy. The newspaper business and the media corps is really a sad industry. When you open a newspaper up, and I would circle the good things versus the bad things. There wasn't very many good things. So over 22, 24 years, I decided I had enough. At the time, I was probably doing the worst thing I could be doing, and I was what we call in the industry of tattooing a scratcher. And I had no one to learn from. I had to learn on my own, and when I got to that point, well, how I got there was I had gone through drug rehab. I had got myself in a pretty bad knot, and I decided that I didn't do it for anybody but myself, and I had to be kind of selfish. I was sick and tired of being sick and tired. And, you know, I'm not going to say I went in without some reservations. I knew that when I walked in, I wasn't going to let no college snot-faced kid tell me how to run my life.
I tried to be as supportive as I could and follow the steps of AA as a codependent and accept the fact that that's what I was. That was a really stressful time, but on the other hand, the reason he went into tattooing was because the counselor at the rehab center introduced it to him. And so, you know, that part was a blessing.
Well, one of my counselors was a very large man with a lot of tattoos, and the interesting thing about drug rehab is you know who you were when you were on drugs, but when you get off, you really have a hard time discovering yourself, and the people around you don't really know who you are either. And I think this is where karma set in. My counselor, Jeff, had said, why don't you become a tattoo artist? In my books that you write when you go through rehab, they always want you to write your feelings down, which is a great way to go, but I was more of an illustrator, so I like to write them. Draw them. Pictures to me opened up more conversation than a solid word that's written. There I was, teaching myself how to tattoo. And I'd have to say the first 9 years were pretty rough. Very, very rough. Tried to get in the shops, kept on doing the basement thing. One thing I did do when I bought an autoclave. Still, in the industry today, that's not an excuse. I had to get into a shop. Well, here I had a job, getting $50,000 plus a year, medical, insurance, everything. And I went home one day and I didn't even ask my wife, I just quit.
He had already been pursuing the tattooing just on the side, but the problem was that he didn't discuss it with me first. So at first I was, you know, I was pretty upset about it. Just because we had still 3 small children, and I mean, his job was our biggest source of income and stuff like that. And it took a while, I'll be honest, it took a while for me to get on board with it, but once, I mean, he was determined to make it work, and he did.
When I faced the fear of not feeding my family and paying my mortgage and all that stuff, it was quite an eye-opener. Nobody knew. My wife was flabbergasted when I quit that job. And I'm sure her parents weren't very happy with me either. But same with rehab, I was kind of being selfish and doing my thing, and that was almost 13 years ago. I have not worked a day in my life. I opened up Wolf Creek in LaPorte City. But before that, I'd made a stab at it, and I opened a shop called Tiger Studios. Now, that was a miserable failure. And it was only bad because I could not keep my appointments. I was trying to work a job, be a professional tattoo artist, and live a life, and it just got too much for me. and I wanted to name my shop something that represented the town. And if you go into LaPorte City, we have a creek there called Wolf Creek. The odd thing about it is it doesn't travel south. If you want to find out, come visit LaPorte and you'll see it's probably one of the strangest oddities nobody even catches. So I was looking around, and my brother, Brian, had was looking for a building to invest in up in anywhere. We found a place in Waverly, Iowa. So I called the city up and told them my idea, and they said that's a good idea. They wanted to have a tattoo shop, and I wanted to make them proud. Come to find out, in this community, we got serious people that wanted really nice work, and they were getting tired of the scratchers and the fly-by-nighters that would come and go. I have been in many shops where the loud, banging, crushing music is going on, the dark, decadent look. And you know, that's cool in certain areas and demographics, if that's the kind of people that they, you know, that can relax and they can work in that atmosphere, that's all right. I can't do that. I like my clients to be comfortable, relaxed. I like to tattoo them the way I want to be tattooed. So I wanted to have something more cozier, maybe family atmosphere, and we did. We greet people at the door. We fill them with as much information.
I grew up in the same hometown as Monty and his family, so I've been familiar with all of them my whole life, and I wasn't ever looking into pursuing tattooing as a career. I just knew Monty from my hometown and wanted to get a tattoo done by him, which is how it kind of led to me being offered a position here since he was looking for an apprentice.
Wolf Creek is my one and only stop in Iowa, hopefully. I don't see myself going to another shop. Monty, not just Monty, but my family upstairs, Amber, James, Kitty, I can't see myself leaving them to go to another shop.
I actually, I did an apprenticeship in Waterloo under an artist, real classy guy. He actually ended up stabbing his girlfriend in the neck a while back. He was in the news. And I broke ties off with him pretty quick. He started being real shady and just wasn't what I wanted to be around. And then I ended up leaving and I went to Cedar Rapids to work, and that's where I worked under another artist who turned out to be addicted to heroin, and kind of ruined things for me for the industry and made my life a lot harder. I was traveling and commuting every day, and I had a baby and everything like that, and so it was just a real hard struggle to actually get everything balanced and put back into order. And I ended up getting a hold of Monty through a mutual friend, and that's how I was offered the job here. And it's been the best thing I've ever done.
I learned to tattoo right here at Wolf Creek. I'm actually the newest pack member here, and I was laid off from my job, and I saw it as a sign from God that it was time for me to take a step in my life that I'd been wanting to take for a long time.
At the shop right now, when my artists, I know that they're making a living. They're all independent contractors, and when I can see that they're making enough money to feed their kids and make a living, houses, buying cars, and living, that's success.
Wolf Creek is a family. I think we all get along. We all have our own relationship with each other and as a group, and we all have learned to work together, and you know, taking criticism from each other, and not even having it be criticism, it's just support or guidance.
Monty is all around everything. He's a friend, he's a dad, he's my sensei. I call him my sensei. Monty is the best. I can go to him about anything and feel comfortable about absolutely everything.
I really admire Monty's outreach within the community, doing things like going to different schools and helping host mock interviews for students. And going to proms. He goes to proms and he does caricatures. He goes to all different kinds of events and does caricatures and donates his time. And so I think that going out and having that positive presence within the community and doing things like interacting with the community's youth, helping them to shape their own future.
I'm extremely proud of what Monty has created. I've seen it go from him just tattooing out of our home to this, you know, incredible business, and he makes people happy with what he does.
Wolf Creek has been probably the proudest thing I've ever had next to my children. It's hard work. It's being there every day, working with people and trying to get them to understand that the process of tattooing, sometimes we have to say no. Ideas come in that are not very, just not going to work on the body. And we don't do it to offend you. We do it to make sure that you get the best for your money. I did several years. I missed birthday parties and Christmases because then the media gods don't rest. I wanted more time to be with my wife. I wanted more time to play with my kids, more time to do the things I like to do, drive fast cars, go fishing, get on my kayak. Time is so valuable and so precious, and we just take advantage of it too much. When you lose sight of family first, maybe it's best that you step back because they're the ones who are going to be with you to the bitter end.